Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. It's been a busy day in the IPL market. IPL retentions 2022 have been confirmed today, and the first eight teams have given out their retention list. We will go through each team. I have with me my co-host Abra. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Some surprises are there for sure, no doubt about it. But we've been for the past 2 days, we've been tracking every single analyst, so we knew this was coming. So I think that the big blows have been dealt with a little bit to my heart. So I think I'm ready to talk about it. But yeah, I think some interesting choices, some obviously obvious expected ones, but some very interesting choices by a few teams. So it remains to be seen how that's going to play out and what the new team's involvement will be in the upcoming few days when we hear about what they have in plans as well. So, all in all, always IPL brings you a lot of excitement, it brings you a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of surprises, and that's exactly what has happened today as well.
Yeah, I got a bit of a football feel. I don't know about you. Normally, it happens on the day, whether there's auction or the trade or anything like that. But here we're getting news from the day before that. We're getting news that he's going to be linked here, he's linked here. And whatever we read, all the sources said the same thing, and it happened. So there was not much surprise in football. Sometimes you get a surprise, but I think cricket is going towards that kind of path. And from what I'm hearing, this is the last big auction. Then we're just going to have mini auctions and trades. So I think they're going into that football kind of route slowly, slowly.
The owner in Delhi mentioned he slammed the IPL retention policy because he said that especially like a team like Delhi or Mumbai, they give chances to so many youngsters and they go out there and really like for example the likes of Avesh Khan for Delhi or for that matter a couple others, the likes of Khagis or Abada who's been a big name for them. So for them to retain someone like only four players has been very very difficult with due respect to everyone else, and
Yeah.
for someone like a Mumbai it's been difficult. For someone like a KKR to not be able to retain Gill has been it was a big shock as well. So there's uh, teams like Punjab, Sunrisers for this in this instance, Rajasthan Royals probably like it a little bit more than the likes of maybe a DC or a CSK or a Mumbai would like it because they've had a better showing over the past few years. So if that is the definitely the route that they go with the only mini auctions and trades moving forward, that will be ideal because I think a lot of teams can start building around the core and give these options to new players, and then these new players don't have to leave them and they can continue playing for the team that has shown the trust in them, which is nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. There is a point over there. Although I like this excitement of jumbling everything up, but it's sometimes good to have a change, right? If you look at it from the other way. But I think
Yeah.
there's some good points over there. Let's start off with the RCB. Virat Kohli retained for 15 crore, Glenn Maxwell 11, and Siraj for 7 crores. Your thoughts on that?
This was a little bit of a surprise for me, to be honest with you. First off, kudos to Virat to take a pay cut. He could have easily gotten the 16, but he went in and got the 15. That makes the position of Maxwell and Siraj to get 1 CR less as well because they could have easily gotten 12 and 8, but they went 15, 11, and 7. So it's interesting. What I genuinely thought was I was very surprised by the exclusion of Chahal, the exclusion of a Padikkal. They could have easily gotten Padikkal for 4 CR. I'm not sure if Padikkal didn't want to be there or whatever, but I think 4 crores for an uncapped player was not too much that they would have missed out on, and that would
But
have really
particularly not an
solidified.
uncapped player anymore, no?
Is he not? I think he is an uncapped player. He's not played yet.
He played against Sri Lanka
Sri
in that
Lanka.
series. Yeah.
Uh, I guess that's probably why. But either way, I think Padikkal will go for a lot of money. So it's going to be an interesting option.
Yeah.
I guess it remains to be seen how this will pan out. Virat and Maxwell, I think no surprise there. Siraj also
Yeah.
has really shown very well in the past 2 3 seasons. So he's really developed as a bowler as well. So it's good to have that. So you kind of have an opening batsman, or in your top four you have two batsmen and you have a proper bowler. So you can kind of build around that. The three is there's no surprise there, but I'm just very surprised that they left out Chahal. Maybe Chahal didn't want to take that fourth spot for only about six CR or 8 CR or whatever they would have given him. And I'm sure Chahal will go for a lot more in the auction as well. So
Definitely.
for the player from the player's prerogative, I think that's it's a fair shout. But from the franchise prerogative, I thought that they missed a trick by not at least trying to keep a Yuzi Chahal or a Harshal Patel for that matter.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. Especially more than Harshal Patel for me, just been the Chahal. I don't know. First of all, they didn't pick him in the Indian team. And then now this, I really don't get it. I think he would have been a great retention, but I guess also they can get him back in that auction. Also, it also gives them that purse, right, to go for other big players. I think, but just the fact that RCB need to focus on their bowling, I just felt that maybe lock in two bowlers and then go from there. But let's see. Remains to be seen what happens. Also, we don't know if Chahal wanted to stay or not. That's
Yeah,
also another
yeah.
question, right?
I
Because
think
we've seen
I think a lot of these players would have had this problem of not wanting to stay because they know
yeah.
that this is the last time that they can go for big money. This could actually go down in very like against them as well. Sometimes these things go up and down, and sometimes like a player that would probably go for 10 CR ends up going for like two or three, and then that might not go down very well. But with that being said, I think it's a fair shout. I think the only surprise for me was Yuzi Chahal or maybe Harshal Patel as well.
Yep, agree with that. Moving on, Mumbai Indians, 4 or 5 time champions. Rohit Sharma 16 crores, Bumrah 12 crores. I think that's shocking. And then Surya Kumar 8 crores, and Kiran
Pollard
Pollard
for
6 crores.
6. Yeah,
Like for me, Bumrah, the only thing was shocking was the figure. I thought he should have gone for more money, and credit to him for taking that cut. He took a
accepting.
massive cut, in my opinion. He took a
I
massive cut. He could have gone for like 18 crores in the auction or 20 crores.
Yeah, I think it's more about wanting to stay with like this setup that he enjoys and the place that he enjoys with. I think he went with that. He enjoys the Mumbai setup. He knows that Mumbai is a champion side, so I think it's more about winning for him than about the other thing. So I think it's a fair shout, not a bad idea. Surprised with Bumrah is less money, no doubt about that. But I think overall, in terms of just the aspect of having the team around, I think that's very, very important. So yeah, I think this was the most. I'm not surprised by this at all. This is exactly how I would have gone if I was in the Mumbai Indian camp. Uh, Pollard is a loyal player for this team for the longest time. Rohit is obviously your captain. Surya Kumar could have also, I know, honestly gotten more money if he went out in the auction. But I think the way the Mumbai Indians are as a franchise, as a team that they always they have that little bit of extra going for their teams and stuff like that. So maybe there's some uh, uh, added advantages for them to stick around than it was for them to move on. You like I said, sometimes it could go south sometimes, but I think this is a fair shout. Very a decent retention policy with 48 crores now to go and go ahead and just go hard in the auction and buy some of the guys back and then just kind of try to build the team around a proper core. They have the opening batsman in Rohit and a gun batsman in Sky at three, and then they have a good bowler and they have a decent all rounder. So that's a pretty solid setup.
And no Pandya brothers for a long time in that Mumbai setup. And another big guy in the market, two big guys, is Ishan Kishan and Trent Bolt as well. So especially Ishan Kishan being a young Indian batsman, a lot of teams right now are trying to groom the team according to youngsters because they're looking at the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
And yeah, these are big players now in the market that Mumbai have.
absolutely.
Like you said, I don't think again they were spoiled for choice. They just had to go with four, and they went with those four. Were
Yeah,
you surprised
exactly.
they went Pollard over Ishan Kishan?
They couldn't have gone with Ishan. Only we can play only three Indians, so
Oh,
they
it's
couldn't have
Ishan
gone.
and Surya
Yeah,
Kumar.
yeah. I'm not surprised by Surya Kumar over Ishan at all. I think Surya Kumar is a more uh, uh, complete batsman. I think Ishan Kishan is that risky kind of buy, and I think that there are wicket-keeping batsman option available. I think they might go back for Quinton de Kock or someone like that. They know that they have those options available. They keep themselves a little bit. I think with Sky they've locked in a very important number three. I think
Yeah.
you can anchor around him with Rohit going all guns blazing. Bumrah is your speedster. Pollard is in at number 5 or 6, whatever. He's your all rounder. I think they've done a decent job. Spoiled for choices. I think this is the best they could have come out with in terms of the options, the significant options that they had, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then moving on to the next team, for me, this along with another team that we will talk about that
I
we're
know which
close
one.
to. Yeah, but right now I want to talk about very funny. I find
Punjab.
this yeah, I find this very funny. Punjab, Mayank Agarwal. I've got 12 crores down. I don't know if you have the same
14.
figure
It's
because
14.
some people are saying 14, some people are saying 12. So I'm getting the figure from the IPL website. It's saying
Oh.
12, and then from where you're getting it from, I think it's Cricket for Crick Buzz, and they're saying 14. So that's what's
So
happening right now. But yeah, but whatever, it's in that range.
yeah. So I believe I was seeing the retention episode that Star had going on. Anil Kumble himself mentioned
He
14.
said
So I'm
14, yeah.
guessing I'm guessing they know what they're talking about. But
Yeah, I don't know where the IPL guys got it from, but yeah, let's say in the range of 12 to
in that,
14. But
yeah, yeah. They have
if it is,
72 CR left. So it's 14 plus 4 is 18. So that's out of the 90, they have 72 CR left, which makes
Okay, it makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So, okay, let's say 14. Oh my God, 14 crores for Mayank Agarwal
And
and 4
four
crores
for
for Arshdeep.
Arshdeep. I think Mayank Agarwal is now their new captain. I think that's the route that they'll go. They probably give him that captaincy role unless they find like someone like whose options are Owen Morgan or something like that. Then that's the only way that they will probably be able to do anything better.
Man, but for
Sorry.
14 crores though.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. I think it's too much for someone like a Mayank Agarwal. I think he
Yeah,
would have.
like I'm saying this. I'm not comparing about like how much money he's getting to spot. Everyone deserves whatever they get, right? Like
Yeah,
he's there, they bought
absolutely.
him. That's fine. But if you're just comparing everything, Bumrah went for 12, and this
Yeah,
guy's going for
yeah,
14. Him and Sanju Samson, I didn't understand it, to be honest.
yeah.
Like, I know what you're saying. I know where you're coming from. He does play well for Punjab, but man, it just looks like I think Rahul was going, so he probably wanted to go as well, and to make him stay, they paid him that much. For me, it looks like that from the outside, but I don't have any information on this.
I think it's always a hard one for someone like a Punjab who's probably had like a very ordinary few years with the franchise as a team, you know. So it's been hard. I think that they've just gone in. They had to lock down Indian talent, I guess. So you know, I think to go ahead and they probably if they look at that, the only real option that they have was Mayank Agarwal along with I'm a little surprised that they didn't go Bishnoi, they didn't go Shah
Yeah,
Rukh Khan. That was
yeah.
surprising. You can go only two uncapped players, so they would have had to go either with one if they wanted. If they Arshdeep was their boy, and I'm honestly not surprised by Arshdeep. I think Arshdeep has been good, so it's a decent bowling option to have. And a Bishnoi would have made a lot of sense just along with these two. They still had
But
it.
Bisnoy, he said he didn't want to stay.
Oh, Bishnoi said he didn't want. Maybe a Shah Rukh Khan then. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah,
that's an
I
option
would
as
have
well.
definitely gone with one or the other. Shah Rukh Khan,
Yeah,
100%, because they both you bring 4 crores. That gives you the same purse as Sunrisers, I think, who have the second highest purse right now.
right.
So I think that would have made sense because it locks in some of your players, right? And especially the young players and the talented. Shah Rukh Khan just won the Syed Mustaq Ali trophy. So why not?
I
Like,
think
he has that reputation, and
he's a
invest
proper
in
all
these guys
rounder.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a
He's gonna
surprising
he's
move
gonna go
actually.
for a lot, I think, at that auction. I
I
think
think
he's
so.
gonna go
I
plus
think so.
plus
Maybe
four.
maybe he didn't want to stay too. This is a question that I guess we will never really be able to answer. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
think it's
not
just
sure. Yeah.
it's just important to go ahead and see how that works out. Arshdeep, no brainer. Mayank Agarwal, I think no brainer, but just too much money. And I think now Mayank Agarwal is probably going to be that captain role and to try to play around, along with that lines. Punjab has their work cut out for them as usual. In every auction, they go all guns blazing. It's just a matter of getting the balance right this time around. I think that's going to be very, very important, and not go and buy like someone like a Riley Meredith for 8 CR and stuff like that. You know, I think you want to go in and you
They're
want to get
already
that
going on
differential.
that path. They're already going on that
Yeah,
path.
exactly. But you want to go ahead and go that get that differential. But I just think that at some point you have to take a breath because you play Riley Meredith for 8 CR and then you don't play him for like barely play him for 2-3 games because he's not able to adjust to conditions. I just feel like you're spoiling all the amount of money that you can probably get 8 CR. You can get 2 or 3 good players in that money. So I think that they'll have to just be a little bit more careful in that and see how they can work around that. I think I'm not taking anything away from Riley Meredith. He was a good bowler, but I think an unknown prodigy to come in, give him some time to adjust, give him some time to figure it out, and don't give him 8 crores and really thin your purse that way. Uh, Punjab is always the element of their style. Punjabi style is kind of how it has always been for them. They will never fail to surprise you. They will never fail to confuse you. Also, at some point, so I think we'll just wait and see how they go ahead in the auction. I hope they're a little bit more smarter. Uh, I think with Anil Kumble, there's a little bit more balance there, but I think that really
There
needs
isn't.
to. Sorry.
There isn't. I don't think there is.
I hope that there is, but it's just a matter of trying to find out what's up with that. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and
Um,
also there's a lot of talk about like their owners and everyone else getting involved. That's why I'm saying like this for them. There's a lot of pressure from outside sources and like I mean technically internal sources, but
yeah,
there is pressure from all sorts of angles. So
yeah,
it's come. There's I think too many cooks spoiling the broth over there. That's the
I
issue.
agree. I think that's a fair shout. Now we have to talk about the fact that they wanted to retain KL. Obviously, that's the reason they bought him for that much money when they bought him at back in the. Now KL wanted to go back into the auction. This is the part which doesn't make sense to me. If he wants to go back into the auction, you have to respect that. Fair enough. But how do you give someone like a Lucknow and the other new team, what's it, Pune, the opportunity to snap him up? That seems unfair to me. I
That's
understand
why
that they
there's
are.
reports of bans coming out as well
Uh,
for Rashid and
it
Rahul because.
If they go into the auction, if they go for 20 CR, I will respect that for it. If Lucknow or Punjab or Pune can snap them up before the auction, main
Ahmedabad.
auction is released, it's not fair. I think that it just wouldn't make sense to me. Sorry, Ahmedabad. I don't know why I was saying
Mhm.
Pune, but Lucknow or Ahmedabad. I think if both of these guys can snap them up, I just feel that it would be unfair to the teams that wanted to retain him, and probably I'm 100% certain that KL was offered the 16 CR that the team could possibly offer. You know, if they are giving Mayank Agarwal 14, there's no doubt in my mind that they gave KL 16 to stay. They can't offer more than 16. So if KL goes out and takes 16 for Lucknow, I think that's unfair.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Ashish is in the comments. He's saying master stroke by Punjab and SRH. He's saying release best player who are the core of the team since so long. What kind of thinking management is doing? Lol, so stupid. I think that's what it is. What Abrar is trying to explain is that the team, the franchise, actually wanting them to stay, but there's certain things not in their hands. Like for example, for Punjab, they're giving Rahul 16, but he wants more than 16, which
And
is, I
the
mean,
only way you can get that is if you go into the mega auction and get 18 or
yeah,
20, which if they do
18 and
that,
20.
then I'm okay with it. But if
Yeah.
Lucknow can snap them up before the mega auction, I think that would be unfair, and I think they should be banned for
Yeah,
that.
and same thing with Rashid Khan. With Rashid Khan,
Absolutely.
they're offering him 12 crores, but he wanted the top,
I
which is
believe I
16 or
believe
15.
there are reports that he was Kane was okay to go for 12 and Rashid got 16, but he said no.
Rashid said no
I believe there's
because
some
he
news
was.
about that as well.
Yeah, then it's ego ki baat, right? Like he probably, because he was offered again. But I think in that sense, like I mean, both ways. Like I think it's just that the player wants to go back into
Move
that
on.
auction, and there's not much you can do. I think yes, with the Warner situation, SRH handled it poorly, and they
Yeah,
could have done much better.
I
But
agree.
in this current situation with Punjab and Sunrise, I think they messed up by
Yeah.
not keeping these players. But at the same time, we don't know if they could have done more. But yeah, I think there's still, like, man, if Virat Kohli is going for 15 and Rohit Sharma is going for 16, KL Rahul, you can say because of his age and right now he's in his prime, he can go for 18. But also, I feel that again, interference is another issue. While he was captaining, you saw who was it? Wasim Jaffa in his year, Anil Kumble in his year, while the game is going on. I don't think he really liked that structure in Punjab. I think if he was in Bangalore and he was offered 16 crores, he would have taken it. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I think that's a fair shout. Punjab has always been a difficult team to deal with. They've always been like that. They've always been over the top owners, Preeti Zinta and whoever the other guy is, that guy with I can't remember his name, but they just
That's
kind of
Vadia.
no, not Neswadia, the other guy. They're always all over the place with Punjab, and we've seen that. Maybe that's not something that KL likes. The only thing is, I just hope that Lucknow can.
Because you're
It
telling
just
me they're
feels
talking to
unfair.
Lucknow, right? If he's talking to Lucknow, that means he's okay with the 16 crore. That means.
Exactly. 16
So if
crores
he's
is
okay with it,
if he's okay with it,
so,
might as well take it at Punjab.
then there is an issue with the club. Then there is an
Exactly.
issue with Punjab.
And
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 same thing
and
with
and if Rash is going for 12 to Lucknow, that's just unfair. How is that
yeah.
fair? That just makes no sense. I mean, that's
Maybe
a
they. That's what
disadvantage
I'm
for
saying.
Punjab and Sunrisers.
But then there is some problem within the franchise also. Then there is a management issue there as well.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
they're not
guess.
happy with something over there. With Rashid, it looks like it's more clear that he wanted to be first, and maybe he just got upset that, like, he's not upset. Maybe he just felt that, I should be the first thing. And Sunrisers went with Kane because they added 3 crores for his captaincy, I guess. So
Yeah, yeah.
it makes sense. I don't think with Agarwal that didn't make too much sense to me in that sense. Giving him 14, but like you're saying, it could be the player wanting more. We don't know exactly what's going
Yeah,
on from that side of things.
exactly.
But right now, it just looks like these two clubs kind of messed up. But like you said, there's more detail that we're not sure about. And also you mentioned, let's go on to that topic right now. Sunrise Hyderabad. You have 60 seconds to talk about this because otherwise you'll go on for 2-3 hours. Kane Williamson. I have 15 crore down, but you have
14.
14 or
He's
15. Yeah.
14.
Oh, shit,
He's
man, I keep
14,
messing it
Samad
up.
4, Mayank Malik 4.
Okay, Kane Williamson 14. So I had actually 14 here on the IPL thing, but because I got it wrong, I went with the whatever. So it's 14 crores, Kane Williamson, Abdul Samad 4, and Umran Malik 4. Now you can talk about
So
it.
I think very smart to get in two top uncapped players. I think Umran Malik is a great future. Abdul Samad has really revolutionized himself. I think we need to see a little bit more from him, obviously. But I think showing this kind of faith is good in the long run, because you give them about 3 years to kind of settle down, get into the groove of things. And I think it's a very, very important to have that number six all rounder who can bat and bowl a little bit, and Umran Malik with that pace, because you always see the likes of Notier, the likes of Khagizo, the likes of Avish Khan. These guys, when they bowl fast, they always have this. And we saw a little bit of Umran Malik, and whatever we saw, we were very impressed. So it's always good to continue that. Ken Williamson, no brainer. He's your captain. He's your number three. He's your talisman. You go with him. I genuinely believe that he was. It's not an ego thing for Kane. I'm pretty sure he would have been absolutely okay with taking 12 if they wanted to give Rash 16. I'm 100% certain about that. I think it's a little bit more of Rash maybe wanting 20 crores or whatever. There has to be some kind of cap that's obviously out there. There are two teams that out there that are still waiting to get their players in, and they both have one foreign player each option available, right? So two Indians and one foreign is, I believe, the options that they have available. So how that's going to pan out, how things are going to work out in that front, it's not sure. But Rashid Khan has to remember that Sunrisers have been good to him over the past 5 years. They've kind of gone right to match. They've given him good money. They bought him when he was a relatively unknown prodigy. Gave him good money that time. They rebought him. They did a whole bunch of things. I'm just a little surprised if he really wanted to go out there for so much more money or whatever. Whatever it was, I respect that, but I just want to see that Rashid Khan. It could go horribly wrong for him. It could go great for him as well, but it's just a matter of thinking out. Obviously, it's a big deal. The David Warner and the Rashid Khan have been talisman for batting and bowling for Sunrisers for so many years now. I think 5 years. 2016 was when Dave Warner was signed. 2017 was when Rash was signed. It's been 4 5 years of very good and good.
And how old was Rashid Khan? He was 17 when he was signed, right?
Yeah,
17,
yeah.
18.
And he was young,
signed,
and he got good money then. He got good money
and
even in
that
the right
that
to
was
match.
his first. That was the first time where he got recognized. I mean, Sunrisers. I think it was Tom Moody who saw him in the Zimbabwe versus Afghanistan series, and then after that he got signed for Sunrisers, and after that he didn't look back. He went to Adelaide. He went to Sussex. He went to Lahore Qalandars. He went all over the world in the CPL. He played as well. So I think Sunrise gave him that platform, and I don't know, man. As an emotional fan, we're going to think that of course, he should show some loyalty here and there. But in this day and age, we don't know what's right, what's wrong. It could be from both sides. It could be the manager's wrong. We could say Rashid Khan also has his problems, but I wouldn't like to see it end like this. I think he right now is at the peak of his career, and I would like him to continue.
The
But then again,
the Sunrisers owners have said that they'll go all out for him in the auction, which is fair credit to them. There is just one thing. I mean, maybe I'm an emotional Sunrisers fan, and I want to say this out there that when Rash was bought in 2017, he was an unknown prodigy, but he was only one of those real mystery spinners back in the day. Like, we didn't know about mystery spinners, but now the likes of Varun Chakravarthy, with due respect to Rash, I think he's top up there with significantly ahead of a lot of these others. But there are a lot of other prodigies that are coming up. The likes of Varun, the likes of Ashwin really revolutionizing himself into a mystery bowler, the likes of Mujib, and so on and so forth. These guys are coming through the ranks pretty fast. So if we can't get a Rashid, we should go ahead and try for a couple others. And I think that there is opportunity out there you might not get a Rashid again because everyone else is probably a notch lower, but the likes of Varun and Ashwin have been very, very good. So if you can go all out for an Ashwin, that's not a bad shout as well. So if there was any problem, I think that us as fans have to respect that whatever the franchise is taken and support the franchise full on. I'm a big Sunrisers fan. I will always be, even if they come last every single season, I'll still be a big Sunrisers fan, and that's kind of how I am. I'm an Arsenal fan, so loyalty comes naturally to me. So, so, so I think I'm going to continue supporting. I think it's not a bad idea to get two uncapped players and get your captain locked away. Now they can build around them.
Yeah, but there's only one Rashid Khan in my opinion. But yeah,
I
agree.
I agree 100%. I'm not comparing any of these to Rashid Khan. I think Rashid Khan is way up there. But you've noticed if we don't build around Rashid, even Rashid is not being like, for example, the last season. Rashid was good throughout all the game, but we were struggling because no one else around him was good. Right. So I think it's about building a 11.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You have to build the 11, but I just feel that with him in the 11, building becomes easier. And also, he's gotten. We haven't won a championship with him. Let's remember that Sunrisers have won with Mustafizur. They won with Warner, but they haven't won with Rashid. So Warner, you can make the same argument or even a better argument with Warner because he's actually done more in terms of trophies for Sunrisers. But I just feel that. he's been the constant threat there in the bowling lineup, and that's the reason why they've reached the playoffs as well. He's not the only reason, but he's one of the main factors there, right? Because that 4 overs always makes it difficult. Even the games that Sunrisers lost this season, they're a bottom team, but some of the games that they lost in that last over or a super over, just because Rashid like helped them take it there. His economy was under 6 for most of the tournament, but
Absolutely, there's no denying the fact that he's an absolute champion gun bowler. But it's sometimes at some points, the franchises also have their hands tied. There's only so much you can do. Like
yeah,
if you
yeah,
can
no,
offer
yeah,
it to
that's what
him,
I'm saying.
and then
I'm blaming both sides. I'm not blaming
yeah.
like one side. I'm blaming both
I
sides.
think with Warner, it was more the franchise than the player. But
That was bad,
yeah,
yeah.
I think the way they handled that was just. I think there's something
That
to
was
learn from
terrible.
for
Yeah,
from that
that's the
aspect of
reason
things.
why. That's why the reason why we reacted with Rashid like that, right? Because what we did with Warner, we're like, oh, they did the same thing with Rashid Khan. But actually, there's two different things. With Rashid Khan,
Exactly,
there's more of Rashid Khan involved, whereas Warner, it was more of Sunrisers who did that. So like
exactly,
it's
exactly.
but that's you already make a bad image of yourself when you do something like that. So that's why they have to think about it now in the future.
Absolutely,
Um,
I agree 100% with that aspect of things.
and Ashish saying Abdul Samad is talented, but when will we see that talent actually performing? One or two hits in innings is not going to do wonders for Abdul Samad.
I think that's a fair shout. I think that the way he's the criticism of Abdul Samad is accepted, but there is a lot that the gurus have seen. I think a lot of people are talking very highly of this Abdul Samad. I think that there is a lot of talent out there. I think the one season that he came in with Sunrisers, I think that's been a difficult season for him, for Sunrisers in general. So I think he now that the faith has shown in him, I think the development needs to start quickly. I think that if he doesn't perform this season, I think he's out. I think they've given him a good chance to go out there one time. As it's in a team that can only they can only retain a few players amongst a core of about 20-25 players that they have to show that kind of to show that kind of commitment towards an Abdul Samad will do wonders to his confidence, and I expect a big season from him.
Yep. Let's move on to the next team very quickly. I give you 60 seconds, but I think we took like triple that. But let's go very quickly to Chennai Super Kings. Jadeja, 16 crores, Dhoni 12 crores, Moeen Ali 8 crores, Gaikwad 6 crores. I think I'm happy with that, except for MS Dhoni. I don't think 12 crores for Dhoni. I think
I
it's.
think that's the only talking point. But I think like let's be honest. I think you and me. I mean,
I'm
I know.
honest. I don't
Uh,
think he.
I think the fact that he's that talisman captain and he's been with CSK for the longest period of time from 2008. There's no denying that he's a captain. One more season in Chennai as a respect for him. That's all that is. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah, but I think they could have still retained him for much less
How will they
in the
retain him
market.
for much less? What would they have given him?
In the auction, just like give him like 2 crores and go. I don't know,
Bro,
like.
everyone's gonna go for a Dhoni if he goes back
No,
in the
because
auction.
my question is that I don't think he has more than a year left in him. What is he, 37?
Yeah, so that's so he'll take 1 crore, 12 crores this time. Then the
You're
purse will open
giving
up
12.
again.
You're
It's
giving
yeah,
12 crores.
yeah.
So the 12 crore that you're giving, for example, like an Abdul Samad, that's going to last 7, 8 years. Here, it's going to last 1 year.
How is it going to last 7, 8 years?
They're going to play for a long time, right? Like at
Yeah,
least
but I'm
six, seven
saying, but
years.
as of so it's like 4 crores per year, right? The contract is so 12 crores per year. The contract is so after this year again the purse opens up for them. They are doing it for one
After
year.
how many years?
1 year, the purse will open up for them in the auction next year. Even if it's a mini auction, they'll have more money to work with.
You're still wasting 12 crores
It's not wasting. It's for this season. One season ka hai na.
for every player. They're getting it for one season.
Yeah.
Okay, 12. It's a 4 year contract, 12 crores each year. That's what it is. But still, man, I don't think. I think the Dhoni thing they could have gone with the youngster. But apart from that, the other, I guess, like you said, I think they want him to retire in Chennai and one last season, give him that captaincy and win the trophy. It's probably written in the stars, and they'll make from a lot of money from the marketing side. I got you back, right, Don? I sorry, I think I lost you for a bit, but yeah, can you hear me? So Jadeja 16, Dhoni 12, Moeen Ali 8, and Gaikwad 6. I think Gaikwad a really, really good signing. Again, they could have let him go back into the auction, but I think keeping Gaikwad was a very good move. And he's been brilliant for them in the last 2 seasons, especially the end of the first season. And last season, he was completely killing it. Very consistent, and his average was so good. So I think it's a very good shot to keep Gaikwad. Moeen Ali, he's been good under Dhoni. Dhoni himself, I mean, Chennai fans will get pissed off if they don't take him. I guess that's why they kept him, and Jadeja 16 crores. But yeah, Don, I agree with
Sorry
you on
about
that
that.
point.
Yeah, I sorry.
I kind of agree with you. Like if it's like that, if it's a 1 year, but still, man, I just feel that for somebody at that age and everything, I would say like try to do something a bit different. But I guess they want to finish off with a trophy in Dhoni's hands in the Chepo, because I think that's what they want. So
That's exactly
fair
what they
enough.
want. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
and then the next one is again Delhi Rishabh Pant 16 crores, Akshar Patel 9 crores, Prithvi Shaw 7.5, and Nokia 6.5 crores.
I think that's a fair shout. I think there's no doubt about that. I think all three. I think Shreyas Iyer apparently wanted to go back in the auction as well, and he wants the
Yeah, but
captaincy role.
they screwed him over, man. He got an injury, they substituted him, and then they kicked him out of captaincy. They screwed him
I,
over. Why would he stay after that?
I think one of the new teams can easily make him captain, and I think that's probably
Uh,
how it's going to go ahead. I think KL and Shreyas are pretty much the new team captains. I think over there. I think that's kind of how it is. So
yeah,
it is
hard
what it
done by.
is. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But this was DC was pretty simple. I think there was no real ouch. Akshar Patel has really evolved as a player. He's almost like Jaddu's. He's kind of going those Jaddu route because he can bat, he can bowl. He Of course Jaddu is a lot more polished than he is, but I think he's going that route. And to give him 9 crores is fair. Priti Shaw is your batsman that you trust, and then in Indian conditions, I think he's a pretty decent batsman. And Nautier was one of your fine bowlers. I don't think Hagizo accepted the 6.5. I'm sure he'll get more when he goes out in the auction. That's
Yeah.
probably why he didn't go through. I'm sure they try to talk to Hagizo to get him in 6.5, but that's not going to happen. So. There's not much you could say about that. I think DC, like Mumbai, have and Chennai, in my opinion, have even though they would have had those long conversations and long meetings. I think at the end of the day, this is not a surprise for me at all. The surprises have come from Punjab. The surprises somewhat have come from Sunrisers for not retaining Rash. Of course, there's probably more things about that, maybe from RR, but not from these guys.
For me, a bit of a surprise. I think I would have gone with Iyer instead of Shaw, but again, there was an issue there, so right for him
It
to
would have
leave.
been about the money. I think they would have
Yeah,
definitely tried, but it would have been about the money.
yeah, probably. And then moving on to KKR, Andre Russell 12 crores, Chakravarti 8, Iyer 8, Sureen Narayan 6. I think he should have got like at least 12 or 14, but yeah, your thoughts.
I think Venkatesh Iyer is the I think the dream of all dreams in terms of just being an unknown prodigy about a couple of months back to then making that debut with the KKR and then going on to play for India and really being a stalwart for Indian cricket in the
His
years to
base
come as
price
well.
was like 20-25 lakhs, right? Initially, in last,
I
yeah.
think
So,
he was bought also for a very small price. I think back in the day,
yeah.
to then suddenly now get 8 crores is something that I'm sure he's very happy about. And I think with them they've just gone for the all rounding options, and that's how KKR always play. You know, the likes of Russell, the likes of Narayan, the likes of Iyer are three top all rounders. Varun Chakravarthy is your mystery spinner that really takes care of a lot of boxes for you. That's 16 overs of bowling right there. If Iyer bowls his sport or four, that's 16 overs of bowling, and then that's three top batsmen as well. Three very good batsmen as well. Of course, Russell and Narayan have had their issues in the batting and have had their issues in general with KKR. But I think to show that kind of trust is just phenomenal by KKR, and I hope they can repay it for KKR.
The only problem I have in these retentions is that half of these retentions are injury prone. Russell and with
Yes,
Varun Chakravarti, they have
yes,
issues.
yes.
Yeah, I think Narayan is a good shout. Iyer is a good shout as well.
Yeah.
But I think just injury is an issue. But that's the only, I mean, it can screw them over, which is not in their hands. But that's
The
the only
surprise
issue.
is Shubman Gill here, but
Shubman
I
Gill,
think
yeah.
I think the fact that Venkatesh Iyer really evolved has changed that option. If not, it would have been easily
Yeah,
Shubman Gill.
yeah, but I think Shubman Gill again, like if he can, develop more and actually turn into a thing, maybe he can go to a Punjab and fit right in because he's a
Yeah,
Punjabi
yeah,
boy as well.
yeah.
And if he can convert that and try to what we saw in that under-19 World Cup, if we can replicate that in this level, I think we'll see a lot from him. He has all the shots. We saw that in the Test arena, but it's about replicating it here. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Don, final team, uh, Rajasthan Royals. Sanju Samson 14 crores, a bit too much maybe. Josh Butler 10 crores, Jaiswal 4 crores. But it's good that they're backing Sanju Samson. And clearly they want him as the face as the Royals. He won a few games, some cracking games last season. Along with him, Butler and Jaiswal, some good picks.
Absolutely. I think Butler and Jaiswal is a no-brainer for me. I think very good picks over there. Rajasthan Royals.
Archer is not a no-brainer.
That's what I said. Rajasthan Royals is very surprising because Stokes and Archer. Of course, they can only have two, and they've gone
Yeah,
with Butler, who's one. So either of Archer or Stokes was an easy decision, I think, in my opinion. But obviously, I guess they also didn't want to get in the number 3 or 4 or whatever. It's so difficult with these number one, number two, number three, number four situations. But in my opinion, that's really they should have. I hope they tried, and I'm sure they did, but it would have not worked out. Sanju Samson, yes, it's a little bit more money. Like Mayank Agarwal, it's a little bit more. But I think that they, like I said, they want to keep that consistent face of the players. Like Mayank Agarwal is probably the new face of Punjab now. So Sanju has done a decent job in terms of his own batting, and he's evolving as a captain. More to come. Is needed from him, but this confidence will do him a world of good.
100%. That wraps it up. We've gone through all teams. I got you for a long time. I
Yeah,
took a
it's
lot
fine.
of your time. Sorry about that. But just lastly, just the players that are available now. You can just walk me through it. KL Rahul, Rashid Khan. We have David Warner. We have Ashwin.
Shreyas
We
Iyer. There's so
we
many
have Shreyas
options.
Iyer. We have Shreyas Iyer.
Shubman
Uh,
Gill is in a
Sh-
top opening batsman that's available.
Shubman
My
Gill,
God, then Marcus Stoinis, what's
Ravi
his name?
Bishnoi,
Ravi Bishnoi, Shah Rukh Khan. We
Jofra
talked
Archer.
about Jofra Archer, Ben Stokes if he wants to come back in there. Earn Morgan, who's probably going to go for a lot of
Whoa.
money. It's impossible for us to continue this. The interesting thing will be who the three players will be from both the new teams. And then the mega auction. I think that's when we'll
Yeah.
really get a clarity. I think they have
So
about
the
2 weeks to give their list of three players. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I thought they're gonna give it tomorrow, but okay, fine.
I
They
believe
have
they have
another
until
2 weeks.
11:15, 12:15.
12, 15. So
That
15
is
December.
December 15th. Sorry, I think I go the other way here. So
Yeah,
15
15. Yeah,
12.
yeah, 15 December. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So until then, I think this is it for the IPL side of things. There's still the test match that we have to look forward to. The second one, there was a
Yes, of
cracker in the
course.
first test. But
Yes.
yeah, I think IPL retention, all this is fun. It's a different kind of thing. We don't really associate this with cricket. It's more with football and basketball. But it's nice to have this as well. The business side of things, the money talks. We're like, oh, this guy doesn't deserve this much, this, that. Like this is like men gossiping. You know what I mean? That's what
this
it is.
is this is the guy. This is the gossip I love, man. This is the
Yeah,
IPL. The
so
frenzy
man,
of
yeah.
IPL is just something else for me.
Like we have like our women who judge in the weddings and stuff, and we judge in the IPL auction. This guy went
Absolutely,
for the
man.
fun.
And I can't
This guy
wait.
went
I
for the
can't
fun.
wait to continue judging.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, one player that you would like to see in Sunrisers Hyderabad.
KL Rahul,
Oof, big call, buddy. Big call. Yeah, and also I wanted to ask you.
Rashid
I think I
Khan,
already.
David
Yeah,
Warner.
no. I was going to ask you. We forgot about David Warner. Yeah, two questions before I let you go.
Yeah,
Ashish asking, what about Arjun?
Arjun Tendulkar.
20
Arjun Tendulkar, Mumbai 20 lakhs.
lakhs. Oh my. And one more question: who's going to be the most expensive? I know you're going to say KL Rahul. So
It just doesn't make
yeah,
sense. If he goes back into the auction, KL Rahul should go for 55 crores if it's possible.
he's going to go for 20 for sure. I think
I think
20 for
20 is the
sure.
cap. I'm hearing 20 is the cap. So I think he'll definitely go for 20 then.
Yeah,
I think it's
100%.
gonna I believe 20 is the cap, and then whoever has 20, then it's like a chit system, which is just unfair. I think then under the table dealings will happen. Then you know where he's
Yeah.
going, Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, Mumbai Indians. So that's going to be crazy. But yeah, Don, also, can you just tell us when the auction is? Do you have an idea around about approximately? It's
मैं
between December and January.
अब भी सौरव गांगुली को फोन करके बोल रहा हूँ.
I think it's between December and
It's
January,
first
to be
week of
honest.
Jan is what I've heard.
First, that's all right, done. And yeah, stay tuned for the latest content from Down the Track. Don, thank you so much for having me. You
Always,
can
man.
carry on with your day, and I will catch you for the latest.
Take care.
Take care.